The first one, can we be sure that Jesus did miracles? The answer is absolutely not. But let's define the term miracle before we go any further. I am using the resource taken from Dr. William Lane Craig, an eminent Christian theologian and scholar and writer. I quote, "In the proper sense, a miracle is an event which cannot be produced by natural causes which are in operation at the time and the place that the event happened." Unquote. He does go on to say that miracles cannot be explained by natural causes simply because miracles operate on a different level. The reality and the bottom line is that miracles are undefinable in some ways, and we cannot prove that Jesus did miracles. However, there are two things that we can say into this. The first is that Jesus opened the minds of the disciples to the Scriptures. We read that in Luke 24. And that is a needful thing for anyone who is coming, who is coming to questions such as these and any other questions on the Christian faith. It's one thing to try to understand things, but in the end, we need to have our minds opened to the Scriptures and to be changed by the Spirit to see that Jesus is who he says he is, God as man, and as the Scriptures describe him to be. And secondly, that we can trust and look at God's Word and believe that what it says is true. The second thing is that we believe in order to understand, not try to understand in order to believe. Faith comes first, understanding after. I know doesn't prove anything, but that is how it is, I'm afraid. And if I may once again be personal about these things to illustrate what happens, I ridiculed Christ and the Bible and made fun of it, made fun of Christians, not to their faces, but nonetheless I made fun of them with others until Christ touched my heart and my mind and came into my life at 34. Afterwards, I began to know that the Scriptures and love them, know that they were God's Word. I believed that Jesus was who he was and is who he is, and that I loved Christians too. There was a complete change there, and that was needed. I didn't care twopence whether Jesus did or did not do miracles, but I do now. The world doesn't believe in these things. The Pharisees, even the religious Jewish Pharisees, when they saw Lazarus walking from the tomb after he had died, wrapped in the cloths, they did not believe that he had come back to life. So you can't force people or tell people they need changed. That's just the first question, I hope, to some degree, answered there. The second question is, are Jesus' works or his miracles in particular, are they recorded outside of the Bible in historical documents? The answer is yes, they are. The first and good source is the Jewish historian Josephus, who, although an unbeliever, wrote about Christ and Christians in correspondence and in his historical work. He spoke of Jesus' works and exorcisms and explained what he knew to be factual, and that was only 60 years after Christ had died and risen. He spoke, of course, disparagingly, as did the other two sources I'm going to name. I believe there'll be other sources as well. But the other two sources are the Roman historian Tacitus and the Roman governor Pliny, both writing in letters only a little later than Josephus. recording in those letters in a similar way that Josephus did, talking about Christians and some of the works, again disparagingly. So yes, there are records outside of the Bible describing Jesus and his works and Christians and what they believed. But can I put you onto the net or to books, if you like books? I can highly recommend 2 books by the same author, Lee Strobel, who was a criminal investigator for the Chicago Tribune and an atheist. He was determined to prove that the Christian faith was, and all of it, was not something to be believed in. It transformed his life after he did some very, very critical investigations. And the 2 books, Case for Faith and The Case for Christ, deal with many of the most difficult and frequently asked questions, including those spoken of, that I've just spoken of here. I hope that's been helpful for you.